Previously, they were only strangers on Platform 7, connected by silence and stolen glances. But today, something changes. As the morning train arrives, Ella sees him, the man who left her the letter. And for the very first time, they speak. Sunlight filters through a cold, crisp sky. The platform is nearly empty, quiet except for the distant hum of the city waking up. Ella walks slowly, clutching the letter tightly in one hand. Her blue scarf is wrapped snug around her neck. I got there early, too early, 7:12 a.m. Platform 7 looked exactly the same. The worn wooden bench, the faded sign overhead, the tracks stretching out like they always did. But it wasn't the same. This time, I wasn't waiting for a stranger. I was waiting for him. My fingers gripped the letter like it might vanish. My heart beat in ridiculous, messy rhythms, too fast and too loud. I didn't know what I would say when I saw him. I just knew I had to be there. The sudden screech of train brakes cuts through the silence. The 7:30 train pulls into the station with a hiss. Passengers step out in a stream, brisk, focused, disconnected. Then he steps out, slower than the others, carrying a small bouquet of wild flowers that looks slightly crushed but fresh. His eyes search the crowd, then lock onto mine. And just like that, he was real. They stand a few feet apart, neither moving, neither speaking, for a moment that feels like forever. You came.
You waited.
Daniel holds out the wildflowers awkwardly.
These are probably crushed. I wasn't sure what you liked. But they reminded me of that morning last spring. You wore yellow. It was the only time.
Ella takes the flowers, her smile genuine. I remember. You had a coffee stain on your coat.
You noticed?
I noticed everything. Side by side now on the wooden bench. Soft sunlight warms their backs. Neither touches, but the space between them hums with tension and familiarity. We sat there like the city had paused, like the trains didn't exist, like we'd slipped into a space made just for us. Between seconds, between breaths. Ella turns toward him, curious and teasing. Do you always read before sunrise?
Only when someone's watching.
So you did see me?
Of course I saw you. You were the only person who ever stood still.
Ella's eyes hold a serious question. You know so much about me, but I don't even know your name.
Daniel Archer.
Ella Ward. They shake hands, a slow, careful handshake that somehow captures the months of silent knowing between them. They rise from the bench and Daniel gestures toward the street.
There's a little cafe a few blocks away. May I?
Ella nods, heart fluttering. The walk is slow. They talk about small things, the changing seasons, favorite books, the comfort of familiar places. Daniel listens as much as he speaks, his eyes never leaving Ella's face. Every step felt like a step into something new. I was discovering him, and he me, both curious and cautious. The cafe smells of fresh coffee and old wood. They sit opposite each other at a corner table, the world muffled outside the window. Daniel orders 2 coffees, 1 black, 1 chamomile tea. He hands Ella the tea, watching her closely as she smiles.
I've been meaning to tell you. Tomorrow, I leave for Paris. A job opportunity I've dreamed about.
Ella's breath catches, but she holds his gaze. Paris?
Yes, but I couldn't leave without seeing you, without saying all this out loud. He reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out his phone. May I have your number? Maybe WhatsApp, so we don't lose this. Whatever it is, no matter where I am.
Ella nods, pulling out her own phone. They carefully exchange numbers, fingers brushing lightly as they do. Now I'll know where to find you, even if you're far away.
So now we're not just two people on a platform anymore, and who knows, maybe one day you'll come to Paris and I'll show you the city through new eyes.
They sit back, the noise of the cafe soft around them. The moment is tender, full of possibility and unspoken promises. Outside, the rain starts to fall gently. Daniel opens his umbrella and holds it over Ella as they walk back toward the station.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for waiting. At the platform, they linger. No rushed goodbyes, no pressure, just quiet understanding.
I'll message you when I arrive.
Safe travels, Daniel. The train arrives. Daniel steps inside, looking back once more before the doors slide shut. And just like that, he was gone. But the promise of tomorrow and every day after hung in the air. Chapter 4. Beginning together, apart. It was mid-morning. The office was already buzzing with keyboards, phones, and deadlines. I was trying to focus. Really, I was. Then my phone lit up beside the monitor. I didn't have to check who it was. I already knew.
Just arrived in Paris. The city looks different at daylight. Wish you were here.
I read it twice. My chest tightened. Not in a sad way, just full. I typed something back, then erased it, then typed again. Send me a photo. I want to see your version of Paris. Daniel felt different from anyone I'd ever met. Quiet, but not distant. Thoughtful, but never overthinking. There was a calm confidence about him, like he carried his dreams lightly but firmly. Meeting him made me realize how much I admired that, how much I wanted someone who listened to the world and to me with the same care. Daniel sips espresso by the window, watching the city wake.
How do you say, I miss you, when you've just met someone? When everything feels so new and fragile? Ella was unlike anyone I expected. Not just because she was brave enough to show up, but because she held herself with a quiet strength. Like someone who had learned to wait, to hope, without losing herself. I wanted to be the one she waited for. And maybe, for the first time, I wasn't afraid of what that meant.
He picks up his phone and records a short voice note.
Good morning, Ella. I hope your coffee is as warm as this sunrise.
Listens to Daniel's voice note during a quiet moment. His voice was the softest thing I heard all day. It filled the spaces between my thoughts, like a promise that this wasn't just a dream. It was in the evening when she received his video call. They connect face to face through a screen. Awkward smiles, shy laughs.
I'm trying to find the best boulangerie here. You'd love the croissants.
You'll have to bring me some when I come.
One day, and until then, every message, every call, it means everything.
Days slipped by, carried on messages and moments shared across the miles. Morning texts full of small discoveries. The way sunlight hit the Seine, just like Ella had described. Or the rich taste of espresso reminding Daniel of her favorite dark roast. Evenings brought video calls, sometimes tired and quiet, but always filled with shy smiles and whispered secrets, the comfort of seeing a familiar face through a screen. Photos became their window to each other's worlds. Parisian streets bathed in golden light, bookstores tucked down cobblestone lanes, and the first blooms of spring in the city's parks. From London, Ella sent snapshots of rain tracing patterns on her window, her cosy reading corner, and the hopeful eyes of her dog waiting at the door. They shared playlists, Daniel's smooth jazz mixing with Ella's soft indie tunes, songs that became their secret language. Of course, the distance wasn't always easy. Missed calls and crackling connections brought moments of loneliness. But every "I miss you" was met with a "me too," small words holding the weight of hope, binding two hearts across the miles. Ella receives a small, carefully wrapped package. Inside, the wildflowers from their meeting, pressed and preserved, and a note.
For when you miss the platform, Daniel.
He didn't forget. He made distance feel smaller. Like love was something you carried, even when apart. Ella sits by the window, the pressed flowers resting beside her book. It's not easy, but maybe it's worth it, because some stories are meant to be written slowly, with patience, hope, and a little faith. Daniel stands on a balcony overlooking the Paris skyline, city lights shimmering.
Distance is just a test, and I'm willing to take it. For her.
And just like that, the silence between them was broken. But what comes next? Neither of them could have predicted. Their story has only just begun. Don't miss the next chapter of The Stranger on Platform 7. Subscribe to Stories to Speak for more heartfelt English stories that speak to the soul. Like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We're listening. See you in part 3.